Hello all, welcome to Terry the Sojourner. My name is Terry. I'm the Sojourner. I am the visitor. I am visiting planet Earth, as we all are. We're all sojourners visiting planet Earth. But the question is, what are we going to do while we're here visiting? I want to show you and myself the realities of the Bible being true 100%, God's written word. And compare that with real life. And so the subject today is the red heifers again. I found this article which I find it very interesting. I believe you will too. We all want to know what's going on with these red heifers. We all want to know when the ceremony will take place if it hasn't taken place already. Some say it has, some said it didn't happen yet. But I don't know. Who do we believe? So let's get into end times prophecy. What the red heifers mean for the future. So I found this article on the website by Charisma, the magazine about spirit-led living, called Charisma. Here it is. Let me show you. Charisma. Okay. This is an article. End times prophecy. Okay. End times prophecy. What the red heifers mean for the future. This was written March 5th, 2025 by Mondo Gonzalez. Mondo Gonzalez also has a podcast, speaks about end time prophecy. Look him up. Great man of God. Man, awesome stuff. So what does the red heifers mean? Okay, there is our red heifer with a beautiful picture of Jerusalem in the background, with the dome of the rock in the background. Oh man, Israel is such a beautiful place. Here it is. Here we go. Throughout the last few years of writing, teaching, and conducting interviews about the red heifers, I have received many good questions and think it would be helpful to bring them together in one location. And here's number one. Do you think the red heifer ceremony, let me get this in. Do you think the red heifer ceremony has already been performed in secret? What do you think? Has the red heifer ceremony been performed already by sacrificing one of the cows that they bought in Texas, from Texas? Let's go back to this article. I have often considered the possibility of a secret red heifer ceremony. Possible. Secret. True. Why would they do it public, right? Maybe it could be secret. I don't think the ceremony has taken place in secret, he writes. The first relates to comments made in a Daily Wire article. Notice this quote right here. This is the quote. Let me highlight it for you. Easier to read. Conducting a red heifer ceremony is controversial in rabbinic circles, and there is far from a consensus over whether it can be done. According to the Temple Institute, which provides rabbinical supervision for the cows, there is no plan right now for using a kosher red heifer, killing it and turning it into ashes, says the director of international development for the Temple Institute told the Daily Wire. Anyone saying this is making it up, they say. We will only do this when the time is right, because there is no point in doing it if the Jewish and rabbinic world won't accept it. Now I want to ask a question. Is this a true statement? Who's being truthful to us? Did you do it already, or didn't you do it already? You know, like one of the last video on the heifers, the Temple Institute says no, they're all disqualified. All the cows that we bought from Texas are disqualified. That's what they say. But then you got Byron, the rancher who sold the cows to Israel. He said, I was standing there. I have pictures. Go to his Facebook. You see the pictures of a sacrifice. Sacrificing a cow. He said it was the true thing. He said it was perfect. A perfect sacrifice with a perfect priest. It was perfect. Who is telling us the truth? Let's go back to this article. I find these quotes a little strange because the Temple Institute, along with Boneh Israel organization, spent considerable time and resources searching for a qualified red heifer. That is true. They spent a lot of time searching for these red heifers. Rabbis from the Temple Institute visited Texas to give a preliminary inspection and then spent, this is the kicker, I'm sorry guys, I keep doing this, I'm so sorry, I apologize. But here it is, they spent $700,000 to purchase and fly the 5 cows over to Israel. Why would you spend so much money? Why would you spend so much time? Considerable time and resources searching for a qualified red heifer. You know how long it took to find these red heifers? Man. And let's go back to the article. Why would they do this if they were not prepared to officiate the ceremony? That is such a good question. Why would you spend all this time and money, $700,000, to purchase these 5 cows from Texas and fly them over to Israel? $700,000. Why would they do this and spend all that time if they weren't ready to do the sacrifice? That's a good question. They were originally quite zealous, as he says right here in this article. Either they were quite zealous to perform the ceremony and have since changed their minds, or else we are missing another piece of information. The second reason why I believe the ceremony could not be done in secret relates to the geography of the precise locations on the Mount of Olives. Well, this was written in March 5 of 2025. August 6th, yesterday was the 7th, I did the video. 6, you go on Facebook, you read the Temple Institute saying on the 6th of August, we are saying that all the 5 heifers that were flown in from Texas is disqualified. But then you have Byron, a Gentile, not a Jew, American from Texas, him and his wife and team took pictures of these red heifers being, a red heifer being sacrificed. And he's saying it's legit. I was there, he said. I was an eyewitness to the ceremony. You know, every time Jesus did miracles in the Bible, throughout the Gospels, he always had eyewitnesses around him. Always. When he healed a lame person, there were witnesses. Healed the blind, there were witnesses. Healed the deaf, there were witnesses of these healings. And so they wrote all these witnesses, all these articles, I'm just going crazy. They wrote these down on paper. All what Jesus did, what he said, and what he did. Miracles. This is an eyewitness who said it really happened. I like this question. I really do. Let's go to the next. Let's look at number 2. So here is number 2. Ready? Let's go. Number 2. Some people suggest that the red heifers currently in Shiloh are decoys. Is this true? Okay, is it true? Let's find out. Let's read this article. Back in the fall of 2023, I had the opportunity to interview Byron Stinson. That's his name, Byron Stinson. Go to his Facebook, type in Byron Stinson, and he has pictures, and he writes a little article about what he saw, his experience when he was witnessing this red heifer sacrifice. So he was preparing, right here, he was preparing various logistics for the red heifer ceremony, which was potentially planned for April or June of 2024, last year. Obviously, when this window passed, they did not suggest another time frame. So during the interview, I asked Byron about security situation. What about the security of the cows? These are expensive cows, and I assume they would be kept in a secure environment that cannot be accused or accessed, by the public. Expensive cows, I assume they would be kept in a secure environment. Sounds like common sense to me that cannot be assessed by the public. Why? Good question. Why? Well, remember that any small action can disqualify the cows. Any small action can disqualify the cows. They do not have to be killed to be disqualified. There we go. To be disqualified. They don't have to be killed to be disqualified. Okay? They just need to be blemished by a small cut or brand. Even throwing an object like a blanket or a yoke over a cow could disqualify it. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense, my friends. Why, public? You're putting these cows at risk. We spent $700,000 to fly these cows all the way from Texas to Israel. And why would we place them in the public? Maybe there's red cows in Shiloh. They're there and people are seeing them, but there may not be the real ones. That's a good question. Something to think about, right? We need to think. God gave us a brain to think, to analyze, to research, to put things together, a puzzle together, put models together, right? Intelligence. Design intelligence. Our God is a intelligent being, a designer. He thinks, we think, because we're created in his image and his likeness. Okay, let's get back to the article before I go on a tangent. Even throwing an object like a blanket or a yoke over a cow could disqualify it. I am skeptical that the real qualified cows from Texas are accessible to the public at Shiloh. That's interesting. That's something to think about. It seems like that at least a few of them are decoys. Maybe, maybe not. I do not know for sure. Okay, he's being honest. I do not know for sure, Mondo Gonzalez. And this is just any guess, or this is probably Byron Stinson. This is the interview with Byron Stinson, yes. I do not know for sure, and this is just my guess. But looking at the situation legitimately, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. It does make sense, guys. It makes sense. Wow. Isn't this interesting? It's getting deeper and deeper. The red heifer ceremony. When is the third temple going to be built? There is going to be a third temple. The Bible teaches on that. A third temple will be rebuilt in Jerusalem in the midst of the 7-year tribulation. We're going to have a video on that very soon. So keep your eye out. Keep your eye out. Wow. Man, so thank you. I just want to thank you guys personally for subscribing to this channel. Man, right now we're at 23 subscribers. Let's get this video out. Let's get this channel out, because we are talking about Jesus. We are talking about the Bible, and we are talking about life. Comparing life to the Bible, Bible to life. The red heifer ceremony is in the Bible. Numbers 19. The book of Numbers, chapter 19. So this is it. We're seeing prophecy coming alive. So subscribe to this channel, like this channel, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, shout it out. Terry the Sojourner, come to the channel, be part of the family. Subscribe. Till next time, we're going to talk about number 3, 4, 5, and 6. More questions about the red heifers. God bless you. God bless you.